Welcome back to our channel. In this second installment, we continue uncovering the stories of celebrities who are currently behind bars. Drop a 1 in the comments and join us as we dive deeper into the scandals, controversies, and shocking reasons that led to their imprisonment. Joe Giudice, best known from The Real Housewives of New Jersey, is facing serious consequences for his actions. While much of the spotlight remained on his wife, Teresa Giudice, Joe found himself at the center of controversy in 2015 after being exposed as the mastermind behind a bankruptcy fraud scheme. Both he and Teresa were convicted, but Joe received a stricter sentence due to additional charges of failing to file tax returns between 2004 and 2008. In March 2016, Joe began serving a 41-month sentence at the Federal Correctional Institution Fort Dix in New Jersey. Reports suggest that adjusting to life behind bars has been challenging for him. Meanwhile, Teresa has completed her sentence and returned home, openly discussing the strain this ordeal has placed on their marriage. Joe frequently calls from prison, often leaving unsettling messages when she doesn't answer, further intensifying the tension between them. His journey from reality TV fame to incarceration serves as a stark reminder of how real-life legal troubles can overshadow even the most glamorous on-screen persona. Colin Rashad Walker, a 27-year-old rapper and actor from Los Angeles, has been sentenced to 50 years to life for multiple counts of sexual assault involving 4 women and 3 minors. Facing charges such as forcible rape, Walker was labeled a predator by Deputy District Attorney Cynthia Wallace. Now a registered sex offender for life, he maintains his innocence and plans to appeal, though some charges were dismissed. Prosecutors revealed that he preyed on aspiring models seeking fame on social media, gaining their trust before committing his crimes. Despite his attorney's claims that the accusations were driven by revenge, the victims had no prior connections before coming forward. Suge Knight, co-founder of Death Row Records, played a pivotal role in shaping West Coast hip-hop culture in the 1990s. Beyond his influence in music, he became a highly controversial figure in the entertainment industry. However, despite his successes, Knight's career was marred by ongoing legal troubles, which ultimately led to dramatic consequences that reshaped his life and legacy. During the filming of Straight Outta Compton, Suge Knight was involved in a violent confrontation with Terry Carter and Cleabone Sloan. The altercation escalated when Knight ran over both men, resulting in Carter's tragic death and serious injuries to Sloan. This led to charges of murder and attempted murder. As the case progressed, his defense team secured a plea deal, and Knight ultimately pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter, a reduced charge from the original murder accusations. In 2018, he was sentenced to 28 years in prison, with the possibility of parole in 2034, marking a dramatic downfall for one of the most influential figures in hip-hop history. Sam Hurd, once a rising star in the NFL, saw his career and life unravel due to his involvement in illegal drug trafficking. A standout player at Northern Illinois University, he entered the league with high expectations and signed with the Dallas Cowboys with hopes of making a lasting impact. However, his time in the NFL was soon overshadowed by persistent substance abuse issues that followed him from the start of his professional career. On December 14, 2011, Hurd was caught in a sting operation while attempting to purchase a large quantity of cocaine and marijuana with the intent to distribute. His legal troubles deepened the following year when he violated bail conditions by failing multiple drug tests. His attorney argued that he had been struggling with personal challenges and succumbed to pressure from those around him during a vulnerable time. However, the court remained unmoved. In 2013, Hurd pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison. Now serving his sentence at FCY Bastrop in Texas, his downfall stands as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of poor choices and involvement in illegal activities. Abby Lee Miller, once a prominent reality TV star, has now joined the ranks of fallen celebrities. For many lower-tier stars, life after fame often proves challenging, leading to legal troubles, rehab stints, or even more severe consequences. While some manage to rebuild their lives, Miller is not among them, as her post-fame journey has been marked by controversy and downfall. Miller gained widespread recognition in 2011 as the star of Dance Moms, a reality show that followed her relentless pursuit of training young dancers to succeed in elite competitions. Her tough, no-nonsense coaching style, paired with her bold personality, captivated audiences and fueled the success of multiple spin-off series. In October 2015, Miller was indicted on fraud charges after authorities uncovered a hidden bank account she used to conceal income while benefiting from bankruptcy claims she had filed in 2010. Hoping for a reduced sentence, she struck a deal with the IRS and pleaded guilty to lesser charges. Ultimately, she was sentenced to 366 days in prison, serving 9 months at the Federal Correctional Institution in Victorville before her release. Jared Fogle, once a household name for his dramatic weight loss and the iconic Subway diet, rose to fame in the early 2000s as a symbol of transformation. Shedding a significant amount of weight by eating Subway sandwiches, he became the face of the brand, serving as its spokesperson for an impressive 15 years from 2000 to 2015. However, the man once admired for his inspiring journey found himself at the center of a shocking scandal in the summer of 2015. That year, authorities raided Jared Fogle's home as part of a criminal investigation, uncovering disturbing evidence of his illegal activities. As the case unfolded, it became clear that Fogle had engaged in misconduct involving minors. In response, Subway swiftly cut all ties with him to distance itself from the scandal. Fogle ultimately pleaded guilty, admitting to serious offenses, including crossing state lines for illicit purposes. Despite his plea deal, he received a 15-year, 8-month federal prison sentence, more than 3 years longer than prosecutors had initially recommended. Harvey Weinstein, co-founder of Miramax, rose to prominence in the 1990s by producing critically acclaimed films like Pulp Fiction and Good Will Hunting, even winning an Oscar for Shakespeare in Love. However, his once powerful reputation unraveled when years of whispered allegations exploded into a full-blown scandal. A groundbreaking New York Times investigation exposed claims from over a dozen women, accusing him of harassment and sexual abuse, marking the beginning of his dramatic downfall. A subsequent expose by The New Yorker uncovered even more allegations, prompting nearly 100 women, including high-profile celebrities, to come forward with their stories of Weinstein's misconduct. In 2018, The New York District Attorney's Office formally charged him with multiple offenses, including rape, criminal sexual acts, sexual abuse, and sexual misconduct involving 2 women. Actress Annabella Sciorra took the stand, detailing her harrowing experience. Weinstein was convicted and sentenced to 23 years in prison, later receiving an additional 16-year sentence in Los Angeles. UK prosecutors have also authorized charges against him for sexual assault in London. Currently, he is serving his sentence at Mohawk Correctional Facility in New York, roughly 100 miles north of New York City. Bobby Schmurda, like many rappers, made a name for himself by rapping about crime and street life. However, unlike most artists who keep their lyrics as storytelling, Schmurda blurred the lines between music and reality. In 2014, at just 20 years old, his career was skyrocketing. His hit single climbed to 6th place on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, and it seemed like the young rapper was on the path to major success. However, that same year, Schmurda's rising career took a dramatic turn as he became entangled in legal troubles. In June, he was arrested for weapon possession after police found a gun in a friend's apartment. By December, things worsened when he was taken into custody again, this time facing a conspiracy to commit murder charge. Even behind bars, his problems escalated when he was caught attempting to smuggle a knife into Rikers Island, further complicating his already dire legal situation. By September 2016, Bobby Schmurda took a plea deal, admitting to third-degree conspiracy to commit murder and weapon possession amid mounting charges. Originally sentenced to 7 years, his term was later increased to 11 after a homemade knife was discovered in his cell. Once a rising star in hip-hop, his downfall serves as a stark reminder of how quickly fame can unravel when entangled with crime. Gary Glitter, a leading figure of 1970s glam rock, saw his career crumble in 1999 when he was convicted of crimes involving minors. He served 4 months in a UK prison for possessing illegal materials before fleeing to Cambodia, where suspicions of further offenses led to his deportation in 2002. Once a chart-topping star, Glitter's legacy was permanently stained by his criminal actions. After relocating to Vietnam, Gary Glitter's legal troubles persisted, leading to further convictions and additional prison time. Upon returning to the UK, his attempts at a comeback were overshadowed by fresh allegations in 2012, linking him to a major investigation into disgraced TV presenter Jimmy Savile. Authorities uncovered new accusations, including a serious offense involving a minor tied to the BBC. Arrested and facing multiple charges, Glitter was convicted in 2015 and sentenced to 16 years in prison, likely ensuring he would spend the remainder of his life behind bars. Ian Watkins, former frontman of the emo band Lost Prophets, shattered the trust of fans worldwide when he was arrested in late 2012 on multiple charges involving minors. Once celebrated as a voice for outsiders and an inspiration to many, his downfall was a disturbing and unimaginable betrayal that left the music community reeling. At first, both fans and bandmates stood by Ian Watkins, but as the horrific extent of his crimes came to light, they had no choice but to distance themselves. Authorities described the evidence of his child abuse as some of the most disturbing they had ever encountered. Ultimately, Watkins pleaded guilty to multiple charges, including possession of illegal materials and other grave offenses, sparing the jury from facing the full horror of his actions. Ian Watkins was sentenced to 29 years in prison, followed by an additional 6 years of supervised release. Since his incarceration, his health and appearance have declined dramatically, leaving him almost unrecognizable. While a few former friends and fans still visit him, his legacy as a musician has been irreversibly shattered. In October 2009, former MMA fighter War Machine surprised many by venturing into the entertainment industry to supplement his income from fighting. During this time, he appeared in several films and began a relationship with star Christy Mack. However, his life quickly spiraled downward when he was sentenced to a year in prison for assault in 2010. After his release, he discovered that Mack had moved on to a new relationship, leading to a violent outburst on August 8, 2014. Consumed by jealousy, he broke into Mack's home and brutally attacked both her and her boyfriend, Corey Thomas, leaving Mack with severe injuries and sparking widespread media outrage. The jury's verdict found War Machine, born Jonathan Copenhaver, guilty on multiple charges, including kidnapping. He was sentenced to life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 36 years. His descent from a celebrated MMA fighter to a lifetime behind bars stands as a tragic and harrowing cautionary tale. Next are reality TV stars Todd and Julie Chrisley, best known for their hit show Chrisley Knows Best, which debuted in 2014. However, in August 2019, their glamorous on-screen life was overshadowed by serious legal troubles. The couple faced allegations of tax evasion, bank fraud, and wire fraud, accused of dodging nearly $2 million in state taxes, concealing over $1 million in earnings from their reality show from the IRS, and falsifying financial documents to misrepresent their income and assets. Despite initially proclaiming their innocence, Todd and Julie Chrisley ultimately faced trial, where prosecutors laid out damning evidence against them. They were found to have inflated their wealth to secure massive loans, falsified financial documents, and borrowed over $30 million to sustain their lavish lifestyle while evading taxes. After a nearly 3-week trial, the couple was convicted of conspiracy to commit bank fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and tax evasion, with Julie also found guilty of wire fraud. Their sentences were severe. Todd received 12 years, while Julie was sentenced to 7 years in prison. Currently, Todd is serving his sentence at the Federal Correctional Institution in Pensacola, Florida, while Julie is incarcerated at a separate federal facility in the state. Shah, widely recognized for her bold personality and sharp remarks on Bravo's The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, found herself at the center of a major legal scandal in March 2021. She was charged with money laundering and wire fraud, accused, alongside her assistant, of orchestrating a telemarketing scheme that preyed on elderly victims. Prosecutors allege that Shah defrauded people out of substantial sums by selling bogus services like website creation and business coaching, which had little to no real value. Reports unveiled heartbreaking stories of victims, including 75-year-old Tricia from North Carolina, who lost over $47,000 on fraudulent business coaching services. Another victim, World War II veteran Ralph Hick, was swindled out of more than $100,000. Tragically, Hick passed away at 92, with his family believing the financial and emotional toll of the scam contributed to his death. Text messages between Shah and her accomplices revealed calculated strategies to keep victims engaged and extract more money from them. Though she initially pleaded not guilty, Shah later admitted to wire fraud. She was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison and is currently serving her sentence at the Federal Correctional Institution Bryan in Texas, with the possibility of parole in August 2028. Kris Wu, a Canadian native, rose to fame in the K-pop industry before expanding into the English-speaking entertainment world. As a former rapper and singer in the South Korean boy band EXO, Wu, real name Wu Yifan, later pursued a solo career and ventured into acting in the mid-2010s. He starred in major Chinese blockbusters like The Mermaid and Journey to the West, The Demons Strike Back, as well as Hollywood action films such as XXX, Return of Xander Cage, and Valerian, and The City of a Thousand Planets. In July 2021, a woman filed a complaint with Beijing police, accusing Wu of coercing her into a sexual encounter in 2020. According to reports, Wu invited her to his home under the pretext of interviewing her for a role in a music video where he allegedly used alcohol to intoxicate her. Following the initial accusation, numerous women, including celebrities and teenage girls, came forward online, sharing similar allegations against Wu. As the scandal escalated, he faced serious legal repercussions. Arrested, prosecuted, and ultimately convicted in November 2022, Wu was found guilty of rape by the Chaoyang District Court and sentenced to 13 years in prison. Shannon Richardson, though not widely known, had minor roles in shows like The Walking Dead and The Vampire Diaries. However, in 2013, she gained infamy for a chilling crime, sending poison-laced letters to high-profile figures, including former President Barack Obama. The letters, tainted with ricin, the deadly toxin famously referenced in Breaking Bad, were also addressed to New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg. Amid a contentious divorce, Richardson attempted to frame her estranged husband, Nathan, by falsely implicating him in the crime. However, a thorough investigation unraveled her deception, leading to her conviction. She was sentenced to 18 years in prison, turning a little-known actress into a figure of national notoriety. Oscar Pistorius was once celebrated as one of the world's most inspiring athletes. After losing both legs at a young age, the South African sprinter defied the odds to rise to international stardom. Making history as a competitor in both the Paralympics and the Olympics, he became a symbol of perseverance, proving that determination, not physical limitations, defines true potential. However, in the early hours of Valentine's Day 2013, Pistorius's once inspirational story took a devastating and tragic turn. That morning, he fatally shot his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp, a well-known model, through the bathroom door of his home. Pistorius insisted he had mistaken her for an intruder, but investigators cast doubt on his account, pointing to signs of tension in their relationship in the months leading up to the shooting. In October 2014, Pistorius was convicted of culpable homicide and sentenced to 5 years in prison. However, his early release less than a year later for good behavior sparked public outrage and demands for a harsher punishment. In November 2015, his initial conviction was overturned, and he was instead found guilty of murder. His sentence was then increased to 6 years, though many felt it was still too lenient given the gravity of the crime. Prosecutors continued to push for a longer sentence, arguing that full justice for Steenkamp had yet to be served. Zumhofe, known as Rock and Roller in the wrestling world, had a modest career in the 1980s, competing in promotions like AWA and Pro Wrestling America. By the time he joined WWE, then WWF, his career was fading, and he was mostly used as an enhancement talent to elevate other wrestlers. One of his most memorable moments came when he became the first wrestler to be placed in a body bag by The Undertaker in WWE, marking a unique, albeit minor, footnote in wrestling history. However, Zumhofe's wrestling legacy has been permanently stained by serious criminal actions. In 2003, he was arrested and faced multiple charges following disturbing allegations of long-term misconduct. The case exposed a troubling history, as Zumhofe had previously served time for similar offenses in the 1980s. Ultimately convicted, he was sentenced to over 25 years in prison. Once a familiar name in wrestling, his reputation has been completely eclipsed by his crimes, leaving a dark and irreversible mark on his legacy. Thank you for watching today's video about Hollywood stars currently in jail. We hope these stories have raised your awareness about the risks and consequences of living in the spotlight. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss out on more interesting content in the future. See you in the next video.